Hi, everybody. I'm Susan Bushel, energy therapist. I'm based in Guelph, Ontario, Canada. I teach, train, and supervise EFT students, and I'm an AMED International accredited EFT master trainer. I would love to introduce you to Joan Corey. Joan is one of my EFT students. She lives in the Fredericton area, and she is going to be speaking at the EFT gathering April 28th and 29th at the University of Guelph. I wanted to just ask Joan a couple of questions about her background and a little bit about what she's going to be sharing with us at the gathering and how she got into the work that she's doing. She's been a long-term teacher in Fredericton, and I wanted to ask her a few details about that. So Joan, tell me a little bit about you growing up in New Brunswick.
Well, I actually grew up in Truro, Nova Scotia.
Aha.
And I lived right beside the Millbrook Reserve, which is a Mi'kmaq community. And I would have to say that was my play community, because at that time it was the old Halifax Highway, and there was lots of basket weaving and beading and leatherwork. And I was just in awe of everything that was being done. And some of my friends from the reserve also had parents that made these crafts. And there was a lady that taught me how to draw. And so I had an awesome childhood.
Oh, and you grew up around people from the reserve and First Nations folks.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And how did you end up a teacher? What drew you to teaching?
I think because from a very young age that I was teaching younger kids and my siblings, so I'd gather everybody together and I would be the teacher and teach them how to read and draw, because I love art too. So
wonderful. Huh. And so you've been a teacher for how many years?
30 years.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
And still loving it.
And still loving it, yeah. And in the Fredericton area?
In the Oromocto area.
Yeah.
It's just outside of Fredericton. And I work for the First Nation community in Oromocto. And that's a Maliseet community. And I taught most of the kids that I'm teaching now, the parents. So it's gone full circle, and maybe the third generation I'll still be there.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I have great connections, and I love the community and the kids.
You were telling me a little bit about a special room that you have at the school that is set up specially for the First Nation children at the school. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I have a variety of positions at the school pertaining to the First Nation community, and there'd be literacy support, the wellness, the emotional support, connections with the community. I go to the Head Start once a week. Just a variety of things, the culture, the language. It's a wonderful job.
Yeah.
So we have dance some afternoons, the traditional dance, and we have drumming.
Wow.
So it's a very special room.
And you were also mentioning to me that sometimes you will take a child into this special room to do a little bit of tapping, and that you had mentioned something even this afternoon that you were working with a little guy this afternoon.
Yes, I introduced the tapping probably 2.5, 3 years ago. And I had taken some courses and I was really excited about it. And I just thought, seeing some of these children that had anxiety around reading or math or, different areas in their life, I said, I'm going to try it. So there was one little boy that he had so much anxiety around reading, and I had spoken with his teacher and his parents, and I offered to try the EFT. And within weeks, this child brought his levels up 4 levels in reading. Was confident. He wrote the grade 2 assessment, the literacy assessment, and he did extremely well on that. And so we also worked on his math and the anxiety around that. And then he asked me if this would work for hockey.
Oh.
He realized that it was working very well for him, and that if he could go outside in his life from the school, then maybe it would benefit him too. So then his hockey just started taking off. Like, it was absolutely amazing. And he's been asked to play on special teams, and he's been invited to special camps. So it's worked very well for him and for other students that I know. There's one little girl that her brother had cancer, and so she was dealing with that, and we tapped. And what I find now are the other kids that are learning about this are in it with, they recognize that other children could benefit from it too. So yeah. So I have many children coming up and asking me if I could help them. And this is a kindergarten to grade 2 school, so it's
wow,
pretty amazing.
So they're tiny.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. Well, I won't.
So they see the benefits.
Yeah, they're seeing the benefits, and they want their friends to have the benefits as well.
Yes, and I walked in my room the other day, and there was one little guy showing his friend, like, about the SUD scale. So he had drawn the scale on the board, and he was explaining about emotions and feelings, and he was going through the whole process, and I just kind of observed it, and I thought, he's got this. He's got it down pat.
Yeah, and I just love that he's sharing it with his friend. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, great, thank you. And you'll be speaking at the gathering. You're going to be talking a little bit about your work with these really young children and how tapping has been helping, and you'll get obviously more detailed, but I just wanted to give people a little preview, a little sampling of how you've been using, as a long-term teacher, how you've been using tapping in schools. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Joan.
No problem.